tonight. We met in closed session. We had two items. One was, find my notes, on public appointment of our Assistant Superintendent of Business Services. And no action was taken there, as well as our public employee evaluation. And we will be going back into closed session at the end of this meeting to continue that conversation. So with that, we are going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by the students from Riverview.
Hi everyone, my name is John Greenwell. I'm going to introduce our student, Jordan Weathers, who's part of our second grade classes, and she is in our Spanish immersion pathway. So Jordan, I'm going to have you introduce yourself. I'll hold the mic for you.
My name is Jordan Weathers. Please remove all hats and hoodies. Face the flag. Right hand over your heart. Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Good job. Welcome to Mr. Greenwell and Mrs. Hood, and we look forward to hearing what you guys have to say.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to the Lakeside Union School District Board of Education and Cabinet for having us here this evening. For those of you who don't know me, my name is John Greenwell. I'm the very proud principal at Riverview International Academy, Southern California's premier Mandarin and Spanish immersion school. And with me, I have our assistant principal, Ms. Carolyn Hood. We have some information to share with you about our school today. The first thing is that I just want to say our school is an amazing school community. We're safe, diverse, fun, and exceptional. We recently garnered the distinction of a 2025 California Distinguished School for exceptional student performance.
And we're proud to celebrate Riverview's 20th year as a language immersion school. Over the past 2 decades, our students' success has consistently demonstrated the strength and impact of immersion education. As we continue to grow, we remain focused on 3 core goals that guide our work every day. The first one, language proficiency. We use our ACTFL proficiency guidelines and performance levels to support and measure students' growth in the target language, helping them develop strong communication skills, as shown there, in real-world contexts. Our second goal is academic achievement at or above grade level. Our goal is for every student to meet and exceed grade level expectations across all academic content areas. And that's interesting because being in a language immersion school, a lot of times our students might be behind monolingual schools. Yet, no, our students continue to grow at a rate higher than students at a monolingual school. Our third goal is cross-cultural understanding and sociocultural competency. And we strive to develop the knowledge, skills, and attitudes students need to communicate effectively, build meaningful relationships, and thrive in diverse cultural environments. We have one team and one sound. Our team is deeply committed to improving student learning and achievement. We work collectively and collaboratively to analyze data, identify student needs, set meaningful goals, and develop targeted action plans. Through ongoing reflection and collaboration, we share effective instructional practices, evaluate progress, and adjust learning opportunities to best support each student's growth. At RIA, we are committed to providing students with what they need, when they need it, and how they need it.
We have 4 school plan for student achievement goals for this year. Again, high academic achievement in English language arts and mathematics, social emotional well-being, innovation and engagement, and of course, achieving language proficiency. For goal 1, we set a rather lofty goal of being able to meet and exceed state expectations by several different metrics, including the state CASP scores, as well as our NWEA MAP test assessments, as well as our district performance tasks. We also set a lofty goal for our mathematics test. We hope to exceed 70% of our students meeting or exceeding expectations in English language arts and 65% in mathematics. And we are well on our way there because we are establishing a culture of thinking at Riverview International Academy. We've been working on book reading and professional development by studying Creating a Culture of Thinking by Ron Richard, who's based out of Harvard University. Our staff is deepening its knowledge of ways to support our students, and we are looking at student learning through the lens of these 8 cultural forces: time, modeling, language, environment, interactions, routines, expectations, and opportunities.
And a well-renowned author and Yale writing teacher, William Zinsser, said, "Writing is thinking made visible." We believe that when students can clearly explain their thinking through writing, they demonstrate a deeper understanding of concepts and ideas. Writing is a complex skill that benefits all learners through intentional instruction and consistent practice. Research shows that strong writers and strong writing instruction not only strengthens written communication, but also improves reading comprehension and other learning in other content areas such as math and science. At Riverview, we recognize that one area of growth for other students is we recognize that one area of growth for our students is expressing their understanding through written discourse. This is something we're currently working on. Because writing is a powerful vehicle for demonstrating and communicating learning and thinking, we're committed to strengthening this area in all 3 languages, Spanish, Mandarin, and English. In fact, the District Wellness Committee collaborated with our school team to provide a writing essay contest. We just finished it in February and March, to not only assess learning of health and wellness, but also to promote a love of writing. And you can see some of our award winners up there on the screen. Now that we're clear on the what and the why, you may be wondering, well, how are we going to measure that growth? Because writing is complex. It's not just 2 + 2 is 4. And so we're highly intentional about how we're going to support each and every student as a writer. Especially in our immersion program, we focus on language development and use speaking and oral rehearsal to strengthen writing, because we know that if the students can say it, they're more likely to be able to write it. So we're really trying to give them more airtime that way. And our research is starting to show trends in that direction. This chart compares our student performance in reading against the 2025 NWEA MAP national norms, and those are indicated with the little red boxes. So the most critical takeaway is the consistent upward trend for all of our grade levels. Across all grades, 1st through 5th, we'll be assessing our kindergartners. We're currently assessing our kindergartners now. All that data isn't in yet. But the mean RIT scores increased from fall 2025 to our most recent ones in winter 2025 and 26. And this indicates that instructional strategies implemented during the first half of the year are effectively moving the needle for student achievement in reading comprehension and areas of reading. So we use this data to validate the hard work of our teachers and our students in the grades where growth significantly exceeded the national average. And we also look at this to figure out what we want to do next with our students and take a closer look at the data to figure out which student groups really need more intervention to get closer to those red marks. This is also our math data, so same layout. However, when we look at this for math, not only are we seeing that consistent upward trend, but we're also starting to ask ourselves guiding questions like, how can we further challenge our high-performing students? In 3rd grade, for instance, there's a 10-point jump. So what specific instructional strategies were used and how can we replicate those across grade levels? And then we're also looking at, while our averages are high, which once again, individual students, because we have students in multiple student groups that need a little bit of targeted intervention in math as well as reading to be able to get to those red boxes and beyond.
We use the NWA MAP scores as an indicator and predictor of how our students will do on the state CASP exams, which we are currently finishing up this week. What we know is that the score trends at Riverview International Academy indicate a high level of success. What we're doing, in short, is working. We know that we have experienced a pattern of continued academic growth, but we're always looking for ways to track individual student needs so that we can meet many components of our first SPSA goal. We've engaged in some deep professional learning this year. Through a partnership with Math Transformations, our team has been examining performance tasks and assessments, looking at student work such as exit tickets, and developing common formative assessments as grade level teams. And we're also providing meaningful co-teaching and peer observation instructional rounds to strengthen best practices in our school across all classrooms. So we have some action steps for Goal 1. We know that the data shows us that teachers benefited from the release time and peer observation opportunities to strengthen our math and English language arts achievement. But next year we hope to continue to partnering with Math Transformations and allow more time for coaching and peer observations. We're going to continue to leverage staff collaboration time and as well as our structured, intentional professional learning community time. We have a second goal for our SPSA, which is social emotional well-being, and we measure that based off of 95% of our students, hopefully, will be scored low risk on the spring SRSS report. And we also have some data that we want to share from our California Healthy Kids survey. This is a data comparison from last spring to this spring when we surveyed all of our 5th grade students. We showed a huge growth, a huge jump in school connectedness. More of our students feel connected to our school. More of our students were able to identify social and emotional learning supports. More students felt that they were treated with respect. More students indicated that they felt safe at school. More students indicated that students were well behaved. And more students indicated that there was meaningful participation at our school. We have 4 simple rules at Riverview International Academy: be safe, be respectful, be responsible, and be kind. We've also been promoting our district student profile to think continuously, learn, I'm saying it wrong, why am I drawing a blank on it? Think critically, learn continuously, collaborate constructively, communicate effectively, persevere relentlessly, and care deeply. I say it every single day, multiple times a day.
He says it without even looking at it usually.
I don't know why I'm tripped up right now.
I don't know why.
We also enforce and recognize and celebrate our school's common courtesies where students say please, thank you, good morning, good afternoon, I apologize for, and excuse me. We've also promoted a culture of being an upstander. Every year I read a book called The Juice Box Bully about unkind behavior out on the playground and how students have the power. We really try to empower our students to not tolerate bad behavior, unkind behavior, and to stand up for one another. So we've all agreed to make this promise. Again, we reinforce that through our PBIS and MTSS protocols, including having our Mustang Mercantile. Students earn a Marvelous Mustang ticket, and then they can redeem it for experiences and prizes, including dyeing the principal's hair color, or having a special lunch with a preferred staff member. So we've recently been given additional data through our tiered fidelity inventory. Our district has been supporting us through the district PBIS committee, and recently we had some folks come in and do a walkthrough of our campuses and identify areas of growth for us. And so it reveals that we need to simplify our rules and expectations for our students. So an action step is that our PBIS committee and ILT will be exploring new simplified rules to use with our students to replace our student profile with them. We're still going to, of course, honor our district student profile, but just not with the students to make it a little bit more easier for them to remember. We also have noticed a huge increase in military-connected families at both of our campuses with significant needs. Anecdotally, they have expressed hardships within families, need for counseling, need for services, need for additional assistance. And through our amazing partnership with our Director of Student Services, Student Support Services, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Our school has developed a military point of contact, and both myself and our school counselor, Sam Worcester, have attended a lot of online trainings, and we aspire to earn the distinction of a Purple Star school by the state of California next year. I'm sure we'll get it too.
Our third goal is to continue to build enrichment opportunities. And so by the end of the school year, we're looking at 75% of our families feel that the school provides those meaningful and relevant learning and assignments, and it increased from 72% the year before. And we do this by offering enrichment opportunities that you don't just find at every school down the street. We have art, music, STEAM, and the third language on top of us being an immersion school to begin with. So when you think about what everyone's coming for with immersion and the biliteracy, we have much more. And so on both campuses, students receive instructional support in art and design standards through our grassroots STEAM program that came from our parents and has evolved over the years. Our students are even growing vegetables and herbs using FarmPlex towers in the classrooms, thanks to child nutrition. And with our PTSA support, we offer real-world experiences at local programs, such as just today, some of our students went on a ranger-led walk at Stelzer Park. We also do OMAs, as you can see up there, for the dairy farm. And you see a great picture of our students interviewing for BizTown, and year after year we hear feedback that those interview skills as fifth graders really take them with them into middle and high school and beyond. We also have a great partnership with City Heights Music, where students get experience with not only world music and beats, but ukulele, recorder, drums, keyboard, and then we also get opportunities to showcase this at performances in the community, like here in Lakeside, or also on campus with our International Fair each year. So we have some action steps for this upcoming school year. The data shows that our surveys data include and highlight how deeply both students and families value these enrichment opportunities. We're hearing that over and over. And so moving forward, we remain committed to prioritizing these programs, which not only enhance the student experience, but continue to attract prospective families from Lakeside and across the county. Our goal 4 is achieving language proficiency, so that by the end of this spring, 85% of our students will be able to obtain that 5th grade biliteracy attainment award as measured through the ACTFL assessment of performance toward proficiency of language, or APPLE for short. And our students are just wrapping up the APPLE currently, but as the data is coming in and being tabulated, we're finding that some of our students may not have, although we still have a high percentage of students qualifying for this award, we're looking at next action steps so that we can make sure that we take a closer look at our 2nd and 5th graders who might have a potential dip in these scores. So that's prompting us to say, well, hey, when we're looking at our enrichment programs, and we're going to continue to provide these native speaking opportunities with our teachers and our instructional assistants, but a lot of it is receptive for the students. They're hearing it, and we need to get them tickling their tongues with the language more so that they're using and expressing not only in words, but also in written words. And that's where we're headed next.
We take time to celebrate and recognize our students. We have so much talent and positive energy on our campus. We have leadership awards. We have opportunities for students to excel out in the community by participating in Junior Olympics or our annual PTSA talent show, and we're very, very proud of our students. And we continue to promote our school and our program. We are a school of choice, and we have a high number of inter-district transfers. We have families that have expressed interest in joining our school community as far away as Fallbrook and Valley Center, as well as National City and San Ysidro, and we do have a family that comes from as far east as Hokumba along the southern border near the desert. And so we know that we have a deep commitment to serving our families here in Lakeside, but we also know that we have a lot to share, a lot to offer, and so we're continuing to engage in the community by doing outreach, and we've had a strong presence at our campus tours throughout this school year. We continue to develop and strengthen our community. We have a very, very strong community, and again, it's through the generous support of our parents and our Parent-Teacher-Student Association that we've been able to provide a lot of amazing programs. We appreciate the support of the board and the greater community, as well as our amazing district cabinet. We can't do it without you. I hope you all have noticed some of your photos in our presentation, because you've been there, you've been a part of supporting our school. And again, I just want to give that one final shout out to our amazing PTSA, who helps set up great parent engagement events, such as we had a recent advocacy meeting for parents at our Winter Gardens campus, which was very well received. And we would like to invite everyone here to our upcoming event. We have a PTSA General Association meeting and space exploration night that will be housed at Riverview campus on Tuesday evening. No, is that right? Thursday. It's Thursday because we have so many events happening. I'm confused. It's Thursday, this coming Thursday at 5:30 p.m. at our Riverview campus. And so we're really excited to invite everyone to that. Again, we are preparing students for global citizenship, and we say that we're creating tomorrow's global leaders today, and I have a very short video clip that encapsulates the spirit of our school, and of course it's not working. So we're going to skip it and just say thank you very much.
Are there any questions that you guys have or comments?
No comments, just thank you for your great leadership, both of you.
Doesn't like it.
Not me. Okay. Anyway, thank you for your leadership. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you for your two amazing campuses and all that you do, and PTA and students and the staff. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Oh, you have a question? All right, so we are going to move right along into trustee reports. We'll start with Jim Bennett.
Hi, good evening. Not much from me. May is the best month of the year. One, it's my birthday month, which is always fun. But really enjoyed the parade and the rodeo this year. Wasn't able to go to the rodeo, but was involved in the parade and stuff. A lot of fun. Other than that, love the sunshine. That's it.
Andrew Hayes.
Yeah, I have a couple of things. One, it feels like it hasn't been a month since our meeting, but
It's only been 3 weeks.
okay, good. Well, I had a policy committee meeting that I went to, as well as we went to the Employee of the Year barbecue, which is always fun, the cornhole tournament. I don't know who won. Does anybody know who ended up winning?
Well,
We're
Well, it wasn't me. I
only
didn't
at the
play.
middle point.
I didn't play. So, oh, we're in the middle point.
Yeah.
But so who moved it on?
Not me.
Well, anyway, it's always fun.
I'm going to assume maintenance is one of them.
Yes.
And I would say ESS is another one, because those are the only two that ever win.
My favorite part about that event is it's honoring all of our fantastic employees, but it also, the names that our employees come up with for their teams, really funny. So I spend my whole time reading the names, and it's just the culture of our district, so it's awesome, and I appreciate all of our employees of the year. Right now it's state budget time, so today I believe the governor announces May revise, so I'm eager to see how that's going to impact our schools. And then the California School Board Association Delegate Assembly meeting is this weekend, and so I'm a delegate for the region, so that's where I spend time advocating for our district in Sacramento to help try to see if we can get some greater assistance from the state. So that's that. I'm excited for those reports, and I'll be able to share more on that next month, and I wish my colleague a great birthday month.
Yes. Casper.
The Western Days Parade was amazing. It was amazing to see all the kids from our district, floats, administrators, other people, and just see the capturing small town America at its very finest, and glad to be here. And then after that was a rodeo. I spent 2 days there filming rodeo. That was, again, incredible experience. And running into staff that are volunteering in different positions there in the rodeo, and it was just an amazing thing, just another amazing thing about Lakeside. Just recently, I was at the Junior Olympics at El Cap. shout out to those LCAP kids. They did an amazing job. They basically ran it, right? We had every school, I believe, there representing all the schools in the district, and the kids, they were just amazing. And that was an annual that they do, the Junior Olympics. As a former 4-H kid many years ago, this is always a tongue twister, the Eastern San Diego County Youth Fair. All right, it's happening as we speak, just almost across the street. It goes through tomorrow, it's free, and then Saturday is the auction, which is high energy when you see these kids and young the youth there presenting their projects. Not all kids can raise an animal, so if you go indoors into the hall, there is the home arts building. It's incredible. Photography, metal work, floral arrangements, other things that kids do that don't raise animals like 4-H, FFA, and Range. And let's see, I think that was it. So please come down and support the kids, ask them questions. These kids are spot on. They're trained very well. They're poised, their knowledge, and their expertise to talk with people about their projects. And it's just an amazing thing at the rodeo grounds. Thank you.
Yeah, I just first wanted to say thank you to all the staff who's worked really hard to get our students tested. We're coming out of testing season, that's a big deal. Every year right around this time. So thank you for everybody getting your students on, completing those tests. I know it's real bare, but great work, and we need that data, so it's really great. I also had a great time at the parade and the rodeo, and then I missed Saturday night, but that's because we were at the Honoring Our Own event, and that was a really nice dinner. I see Dr. Patty Fernandez back there. She was one of our recipients, and that was a really great time to see family and friends out. And then another thing I made it to was the open house at TDS. That was really neat to see a lot of the student work that was showcased. One of the highlights was the robotics team was out with two different robots, and they were shooting balls, and you know, it was really fun. All of the families were getting in on that action. And then I got to watch a couple of the Mandarin student presentations where they get to show off their skills and earn, you know, their accolades for the next step. I don't know what you call it exactly, but so it was a really nice night out there. And that's all I got.
Excellent. Well, like everyone else, rodeo and Western Days are some of my favorite things in the year. They're a lot of work to lead into, but I love seeing everyone engaged in our community. I also attended with all of Cabinet, came to the Honoring Our Own, where we celebrated not just Patty, but also Tessa Green was Principal of the Year for our region. And those are they're very big deals, and we love to celebrate, as we'll celebrate a little later, all of our staff. I love the employee barbecue as well. It's always a lot of fun to see our employees of the year get to celebrate with their families. I got to go see Wonka at LMS. Their drama program is just amazing, and those kids did such a good job. I encourage you, the 6th grade one is at the end of the month, and they are doing Annie, so I encourage you guys to come and see that. I want to welcome Tori. So Tori Long is going to be our new Assistant Superintendent for Business Services. We have her contract up later in this meeting, so we're very happy to welcome her into the Lakeside family. And I want to highlight our board goals survey. So a lot of you guys saw that come out in an email today, as well as it's going to start hitting social media. We are taking a look at all the great feedback that we received through our superintendent search and the survey we did last year. Created such good feedback that allowed us to create some of these initiatives and resolutions that we've been working on. We have a few more coming still, but we want to now take a look at our board goals that we've had for a few years now, and really look at what do you guys want as staff, as families, as our community. What do you think our focus should be on as a board, because we're here to serve our community. So that's opened up. It is, again, just like last time, completely anonymous. It comes directly to us as a board, and then we're going to use all of that information to then craft our goals for the next couple, at least next year, but maybe next couple of years. So I encourage everyone to fill that out. Students as well, if your kids have the opportunity to give their voice, their voices are just as important. So those are my comments for today as well. That's going to lead us right into our opportunity for public comment. Public comment allows you 4 minutes to speak to the board. The board is not allowed to respond, but we are here to listen to your comments. Rachel, do we have any public comment?
We do. Mr. Tyler Roberts is going to come and speak, parent at LMS, about e-bikes.
Welcome.
Okay, first, I really appreciate the time. This wasn't on your guys' agenda. I know you guys are squeezing me in. Really appreciate it. And it's probably just bad timing. I don't know if people are aware. CHP was actually at the school today, and that's the reason this is kind of timing-wise. I had to show up and at least speak about it. Basically, I believe it's time for the school district to start to develop some sort of nuance around their e-bike policy. E-bike technology, being in the industry, knowing this, has advanced way faster than most laws, policies, or anything have kept up with. And but even the state of California has finally come around to classifying e-bikes to certain levels. Class 1 and Class 2 e-bikes are below 20 miles an hour. There's rules around what ages can ride those, whether or not you need a license, all that kind of stuff. Same thing, Class 3, I'm definitely not here to be a supporter of those Suron bikes, which are, I won't even call them e-bikes, electric motorcycles. They're a problem that obviously the state is going to be dealing with as well. But we live just south of Lakeside Middle School, and my kids have walked to school. My kids have ridden regular bicycles to school. That hill is massive. We live all the way up the hill. It's only a mile away, but to school, that's a 7-minute ride down a hill. You're on the brakes, making sure you're not speeding. Up the hill, walking or riding a bicycle, you're traveling about 3 miles an hour. It takes 35 to 45 minutes to get home. You're being passed by multiple cars on a road that has no sidewalks, no shoulders. Where there is a shoulder, there's trash cans in them. Very unsafe. Myself, as a parent, has determined that the safest way for my children to transport themselves to and from school is on an electric pedal-assisted bicycle. They're Class 1 bicycles. They are legally allowed to ride them as long as they're following the rules. They're wearing a helmet. I have conversations with them all the time about this, and I believe the net has been thrown too wide in this policy of no e-bikes. I understand it's under the assumption of safety, but there's no nuance to it, and it does not take into account that policy, I believe, I'm highly confident, it is putting my children in more danger because they're on the road 35 to 40 minutes walking or riding a pedal bike versus what is actually about 9 minutes. They're not speeding, they can only get up to like 10, 12 miles an hour up that hill. Even with assist, that's all I can do because that hill's so steep. So, just a statement, I believe it's time for the district to reassess that policy and develop some level of nuance as the state has done. There is some guidance to that, and that's the statement I want to make. I need that policy to be reassessed. I do plan on bringing this up via an agenda next month, but just timing-wise, because the CHP was at the school today, I wanted to hear it and at least bring it up. I appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thank you.
Do we have any other public comment?
We do not.
All right. So this brings us to one of our favorite parts when we have recognition of meetings. We don't get to do it very often. But we are very excited to recognize our district certificated employee of the year as well as our district classified employees of the year. So, we'll start with one.
Yeah,
Mr. Wabi.
absolutely.
All right.
If everyone can please join me in celebrating Adele Rengino, our classified employee of the year. So proud of Adele. She's an assistant at Elite Preschool and does a fantastic
We're gonna do this.
And I will not stand in front of you, I promise. Congratulations.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you.
So,
And it won't keep.
yes, we're gonna all hang out here, so I know you will probably wanna say something, but I do too. There are times where some of these are just extra special. So Dana Robledo, I know I'm gonna cry too, is our teacher of the year. I had the pleasure, my son had her for many years as an art student. And he is an extremely shy kid who has a lot of trouble connecting with people. And Dana is one of those people that really made a connection with him, that he continues to seek her out multiple times a year. He goes and visits her at school. He's now a junior in high school. He still seeks her out. And when this came up and I asked him, what does it mean? And his thing was, he has trouble expressing himself, but he was like, she is one of the only teachers that made me feel like my opinion mattered, that I meant something. So I just want you to know, you know that he said that because I told you, but I want, it's important that you're very special to us. So this was special to me. So, I was going to make him come, but he wouldn't take that. That would be hard.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Moving on to our action items this evening. Our first action item is approval. So we have an employment agreement between Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, Ms. Tori Long, and the Governing Board of Lakeside Union School District for the term of August 10th, 2026 to June 30th, 2028, with a renewal through June 30th, 2029 upon a satisfactory evaluation of the 2027-2028 school year. This agreement includes an annual salary of $205,342. Get my numbers right. For 2026-27. The district will also provide employee independent medical, dental, and term life insurance coverage for the assistant superintendent. However, she will make payments of health premiums in the same amount and under the same terms of the conditions as certificated bargaining unit members. She will also receive a monthly automobile and mileage stipend in the amount of $500 and monthly expense stipend in the amount of $400. I just want to note that on our agenda and in what was posted, it listed the health benefits as under the classified bargaining unit, and that was incorrect. It has actually been updated to the certificated bargaining unit, so I just wanted that to be aware. So with that, we will be looking for a motion on this agreement.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Autumn. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? That will pass. Okay. We will then move on to a public hearing for the financial provisions of the collective bargaining agreement with California School Employees Association and its Lakeside Chapter 240. Do we have any comment?
We do not.
Okay, and we will close that public hearing. There is an action item to approve a requested tentative agreement with the district and the CSEA and its chapter. Is there a motion?
Second.
Thank you, Andrew. Any discussion on this item? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
And hearing none opposed, that will pass. The next is, we have approval requested of the AB 1200 public disclosure of proposed collective bargaining agreement with CSEA. There are some notes that have been in your, there's a memo and some notes in your file that we will need to make some revisions based on this disclosure. Some of the high level is we will need to make, well, actually, I'm not going to go through each of the pages because they're here for you. I just do want to note that with these, the adjustments that the County Office of Education has given us, we will need to make adjustments during our 26-27 of budget reductions of $737,000 and $850,000 for 27-28 to meet our required 3% reserve. Okay. So with that, we're looking for a motion to approve with the revisions that are available. And then, or a motion for further discussion.
Yeah, this is a question for staff. Lisa, this is the first time we've ever seen this, so could you just explain for, I think, public edification to kind of what this looks like and kind of what this means in general?
The AB 1200 or that's a disclosure anytime you bargain with a bargaining unit. We have to, the superintendent and myself, have to fill out this document and show that within the current year, we're able to fulfill our financial obligations and 2 years out. And so based on that, there will need to be some budget reductions in 27, 28, and 28, 26, 27, and 27, 28, with the information that we know right now. Again, budgets are very
Based on
fluid.
projections.
Yeah, and so, but we have to show that to the county, and so it's just it's a state of California requirement that we have to just do this disclosure and sign off and certify that we will be making these budget reductions. And so on June 11th too, I'll be bringing, there's a resolution that has to go along with this. We'll bring a resolution forward to the board for that. Again, it's a living, breathing document based on what we know right now.
Thank you.
I would note that we could change tomorrow, but now that the governor has given us a new budget.
Actually, as I had sent it to the county to get final, my email popped up with the governor did his this morning, his main revise, and I'll share that when I do my at the end of the meeting. But I was like, oh. This already has changed. So,
I'm not surprised.
Answer the question, by the way.
All right, so we are looking is approval is requested for AB 1200. Is there a motion on the floor?
So,
Thank you, Andrew. Is there a second?
sorry.
Thank you, Ron. Is there discussion to be out on this item? I expect things to change. Yeah, I expect things to change. I think we dipped just below our 3% on the third year. So things could change a lot in 3 years. So hopefully we won't reach that point, but we do need to be aware. So All those in favor of approving?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great. Okay, we will now open a public hearing for the River Valley Charter School petition revision. Is there any public comment on this? Okay. With that, we will close our public hearing. There is an action item on here for the petition revision to approve. I am going to make a motion to postpone that to next month. We are actually missing a resolution that needs to be attached with this. But I also feel it'll actually fit really well in that River Valley will be here presenting at the next board meeting. So it's very fitting that they present, and then we have the opportunity to approve their requested revision. So my motion is to postpone till next month. Is there a second? Thank you, Ron. Any discussion on this or questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? We will pass that as well and bring that back for next month. And that will lead us right into presentations. We welcome Dr. Clark to give us some updates on the special education department.
Good evening, thank you for having me. For the annual review, I'm excited to share. So our vision is to foster an environment of inclusivity and promote equitable opportunities for every student, family, and staff member in our district. We are committed to cultivating a shared mindset that values diversity and ensures accessibility for all. Regarding principles, I'm going to go into on the next slide, but it's cut off. And this was created through our CEL team. Over time, it wasn't created just within our own leadership department. So it's over the process actually of last year, we revisited that and we did leadership team. So these are the guiding goals that were, the guiding principles that were cut off in the last slide. So we determined that these three areas were the areas that are going to be driving our work moving forward. So all in, we feel that every student should feel a sense of belonging. So the we is, yes, this is coming out of special ed, but when we think of we think of all the students in Lakeside. Courageous collaboration. We will meet the needs of all students through collaboration, not just within our own department, but with all the staff, parents, with the community within Lakeside. And to ignite confidence. We are empowered in our ability to educate the whole child so students are prepared for tomorrow's opportunities. This is the incredible team I'm lucky to work with, and some of them are here. There's these down. There's just right here. Alejandra Garcia is over there, one of my program specialists. My other program specialist, Jenna Richards. Gabby is the other one. You guys know her very well. BCBA. Jennifer Martinetti is our TOSA. She wasn't able to join us. Pernelsa Howell is our social services coordinator, and our behavior team is also part of our incredible team, and they work under Gabby. It's very hard to get all of them together, so we're happy to get them together. Could not do what we do without everybody that's a part of this department working in collaboration together. So just some quick numbers for our students. As of yesterday, we were at 1,014. We have 66 infants. So one of our infant teachers goes into the home, if you're familiar with the infant program, and then our other two infant teachers sees our 2-year-olds in the classrooms of our LEAP program. And going into LEAP, we have our preschoolers. We have some students that are in separate classes, and over the past few years, we've been really working hard on trying to expand the opportunities for our preschoolers that need special education services. So in years prior, it was only the SDCs. So now we buy seats in the tuition-based classroom, so they have access to their general peers. And also they are part of our state preschool program. They have to meet some of the state preschool requirements, but we have a lot more opportunities for our students to not be separated from their gen ed peers, but learn alongside, because it's just excellent role models that really enhances their language. So we're super excited about that. We've been really working hard with Robin Bowman to create that opportunity. 298 students in our elementary RSP program. So all of those students are general education students. They're rostered in general education. They may receive supports within the classroom, outside the classroom, or a combination of both. Then we have our elementary SDCs. Could be mild mod, could be mild severe. Probably the majority of the students spend the majority of their time in separate environments, but there's many of them that spend time mainstreaming in general education classrooms. So there's children in every single SDC that spends time in the general education classroom. Middle school SAI, we got 237. So the majority of those students, all of those students are in general education classrooms. They're receiving support either in a co-taught classroom, so there's two teachers, a SPED teacher and a general education teacher teaching together, or they're in the classroom with a general education teacher and a special education instructional assistant. So they're getting their services within the general education environment. It really helps to provide access opportunity, you can do accommodations, modifications. And our co-teaching, you guys really need to come visit LMS and TDS. TDS has really been working hard over the last couple of years, and LMS is doing the same thing. But watching the two teachers teaming together is really powerful, not just for our SPED students, but for all of the students in those classrooms. Then we have our middle school SCC, much smaller number because it's a much smaller amount of students that need the separate environment. But a lot of those students in either our MOD program or our MOD severe program are spending time outside in general education as well. So it could be for PE, TDS runs a unified PE. Those two classrooms are hosted at TDS. And we have students that are absolutely part of electives. You know, we want to get them into gen ed where they can get the most benefit out of having access to the general education peers. And then our speech-only students are 228 we serve preschool all the way through 8th grade. So students that have IEPs with just for speech and language needs. So all of their time is spent in gen ed classrooms. Sometimes the speech providers push in, oftentimes they pull out for like a 30-minute session, just depends. We're making progress on our state testing. So this is last year's because of course we're taking our state testing right now. But overall for the subgroup of special education students with disabilities, we have moved out of red to orange, so we're super excited about that. Special education overall increased 19.6 points. Math maintained, but it's better than decreasing, so we maintained by 1.9. Individually, we had a lot of schools that made increases. So those are the schools that did English language arts increases. Lindo Park, Lakeside Farms, Lakeview, Riverview, LMS, and TDS. Math increases, Lindo Park, Lakeside Farms, Riverview, TDS, and then LMS maintained. But we were very excited to see that. In our MAP status, so the gold triangles are what are the national norms. So our students with disabilities are under that, but it's exciting to see that they are making progress between the fall and the spring. And every single grade level for math and for reading, they've made progress between the fall and the spring. So we're really excited about that. We don't want to see the decreases, so we want to see the increases, and we're able to see that. So I'm going to talk about a couple of our different positions because this one's unique. I think this is our second year having a social services coordinator. So this is just some of his numbers. He has seen over the course of the year 104 students. It's individual check-ins. Sometimes it's a couple times a week. Sometimes it's just when he's on campus. But he's able to build one-to-one connections with students. Oftentimes it's students that are really hard to reach. Students that may not have a reason to come to school, but they want to come to school, especially on the days that they get to see Mr. P. The teachers really look forward to him being on the campuses because they know that they can see the difference in the students that he's connected with. And it's really about building connections. And Laura, I know you were talking about that with Mrs. Robledo, how important it is. It can just be one person too. Your son still remembers the teacher at middle school, and for some of these kids, he's that person for them right now. He has run in total 46 different classroom groups. He runs small groups and he will pull students out for that. For LMS, they asked him this year to be one of the crew leaders. So he partners with one of the PE teachers, but he's been running the boys group all year. He does that every Monday morning when they do crew at LMS. Requests for his support or his consults come from principals, school psychologists, school counselors, teachers. Some of the additional community outreach, he does home visits, a lot for the middle schools. The staff will reach out to him, especially for those kids that have individual truancies. He will go to MTS and get bus passes for our older students. He's trying to work on trying to find some jobs for them too. Some of our 14-year-olds just to get some engagement and give them some activities during the summer. And he also supports with agency linkages. He works with Dr. Fernandez and her team as well. Then we have our amazing behavior team and the support that they've given. It's a big summary because they are very busy every single day, but they are assigned to, her team of 4, all 4 of them are assigned to schools every single day of the week. This is our numbers that are right now because it changes. So we really use the acuity model, and I think Natalie's talked about that before, where schools get what they need at that moment. So at the beginning of the school year, a lot of their time was focused within the TK classes. So those elementary schools, because TK is such that transition, it's really difficult. So they have a lot of time in those TK classes, whether there were special ed numbers or not. They support gen ed and special ed. As time went on and schools had more stability and other students need more support, Gabby would transition and she would do some shifting, we'd give them transition time. So right now the schools with the highest days of support, if you will, are the ones that have the highest need. Some of them have maintained the high level of need. Others didn't need as much support. Lakeside Farms had more days, now they have less days, and some of that support now really is given towards Winter Gardens. They didn't initially have it at Winter Gardens, but they've been having just the troubles with certain kids, so they're able to dedicate more support there. The individual students are students that they are also spending individual time. A lot of times they're associated with an IEP service, whether it's an accommodation or whether it's a direct service providing behavior support. But all of that time and effort is coming from Gabby's behavior intervention aides. Gabby's a part of, she works with them, she does training 2 days a week. On Wednesday afternoon, she brings them. On Monday morning, she starts off kind of like a kickoff. She does a morning meeting on Mondays. Fridays, they get together in the afternoon to kind of book out their week. She goes to a lot of IEPs, a lot of staffings, but when she's not doing all of the formality pieces, she's in the classrooms with her behavior intervention assistants, and they're working side by side. She's doing coaching, our behavior aides are coaching the staff that are in the classroom. And one of our aides, that was the bottom one of our aides we have dedicated to our SDC classrooms, because there's always a lot going there. So her schedule is rotating between all of the SDCs, and when we need her, we can use her for the additional side-way support as well. They also, my pictures are cut, it didn't look like this on my computer, but for our annual Sunshine Awards with our CAC, the award was given to our whole behavior team, so that is them getting the award, and it's a picture of their own because they're so amazing. And then how we as a department also support behavior along with Gabby and her team. We started this year with the behavior cohort. Gabby brought it up to me last year. She's a part of a collaborative group of BCBAs all over San Diego County. And she took some ideas from other districts in creating this cohort where it's trying to bring, it's really a proactive step in bringing teachers together, gen ed and special education, and giving them some like full day professional development. We sought out who was interested, and so there's a bigger number. We kind of dwindled down to 9, but it's still 9 people that got 4 full days of support in these areas. Gabby received a really good feedback. They had really good ideas for us and how we can continue this work, and also it's always hard just with logistics, getting substitutes and trying to find time and trying to, for them to leave their classroom all day, all of those things. So they gave us some really good ideas about how we can keep going. And progress with this group as well as engage some more folks. A lot of them talked about they wish they could have like partners, so at least 2 of them would do this training on the same site together, so they could learn together, and then they could also share some of the new learnings with their own school staff. The other thing that we really solidified were our behavior collaboration meetings. It's an opportunity for us to get together as a multidisciplinary team to talk about our high need students. So we think about it as our tier 3. And it's not just, we kind of started it, but it's a combination of our gen ed support as well as our special ed staff. So we have the principal, administrator, the TOSA that supports the school, the psychologist. So really all the people that support in social, emotional, and behavior on the campuses. We come together each month to discuss students that they bring up for us to consider. But also it's really just a problem solved together. Because what we were finding in the past years was that people would go to the people that they knew, or they would go to, if it wasn't SPED, they would go to some of their gen ed supports. In SPED, they would come to us. But really, everybody's supporting all of these students on the campus. So we wanted to sit down and have one conversation with all of the people that are providing these supports to streamline it, not to have duplication of services, because it's much more powerful to figure out like who's the best person to take lead, who should be providing feedback. So it has been really helpful. There's a lot of students that are on our list and then they're able to get off the list, just because what we've talked about in the support plan that we created, it was working. So now we're able to transition those extra supports and services to other students. And every school, it took a little bit of time, but every school, even our middle schools, have participated this year, so we're excited about that. Because it wasn't optional, it wasn't like you had to do it, but we wanted to reinforce the importance of it, and I think every school site has found that it's been a valuable time that they've committed to. In professional development, we have been busy as a giant team. So during August PD, we led 5 sessions, January 5 sessions. January classified PD has become special education because the majority of it is our IAs. Gabby and her team led the January classified PD session, which is the same time as the certificated. When the district does the district-wide PLC days, we often have subgroups like my psychologist and my speech paths where the learning, it might be math transformations or something that's really not particular to their work. So then we're always leading sessions for them so they can find relevancy. Gabby's team has led 7 sessions of IA training. She was really creative this year, and she brought in some other folks to help support her work. We brought in speech paths, AAC, what else? Oh, our SIT person who did some. Yes, so we wanted, before she has led it, it was her doing everything, which was great, but then she's like, they've kind of heard me already, like I can do it again, but how can I give them more information? Because we found that the IAs is such a tough group for us to just get. I mean, it's optional and we pay them, which is absolutely appropriate, but it's hard for us to provide professional development opportunities for a big group of them because it's really hard to have them not on campuses. So they really enjoy it anytime they can have the opportunity to get professional development, so we really want to make it meaningful for them and are willing to spend their time with us. So Gabby did a really good job of doing that and bringing lots of perspectives and really providing engaging learning opportunities. CPL, you guys have heard of that. We've been 6 sessions. We are done with the global school campuses this year. We are doing 1 admin, so that's new this year. We're doing admin and 1 for transportation. So those are the next 2 to close off our school year. We do lots of site-specific support, staffings. We call those like the team gets together to talk and discuss and make sure we're all on the same page going into IEP meetings. Lots of support in SST meetings, just providing information, kind of providing the consultancy lens for the school teams. Department meetings, the program specialists have gotten department meetings held at every single school site, which gives us an opportunity just to reach out to the staff. It's hard to get them off the campuses, everybody together. So they're able to do that once a month, lots of classroom observations and lots of intentional trainings where principals will just reach out to one of us and say, hey, can you come to my school setting, can you do a training? So we absolutely can do that, and we basically tell us what you want, because we can create anything for you. We're just happy to have an audience to talk to. Parent training was really exciting. This was new this year. This was Alejandra's idea. We did a 3-week parent training series. It was from Jewish Community Services, I believe, in positive parenting. We actually had a really good turnout. We were really excited. We're happy if we just have 5 or 6 people, but it's so hard for families to get away. So we did that. We offered dinner. We tried to make it really exciting. But the families found it really engaging. It was fun watching them because it wasn't just about this person who was the guru who knows everything, but it was really about she would bring up this topic and then the families would be talking and collaborating and asking each other questions, and just watching that dialogue was really powerful for them. You know, it's one thing to hear from the one adult talking the whole time, but they found it, I think, really interesting and engaging that they were able to have that cross-collaborative conversation. We continued our 8th grade parent transition meeting, so that's when we partnered with El Capitan and the vice principal over there who leads their special education office, or our special education department, and then we brought in our 8th grade parents because we found that our 8th grade parents get very nervous about high school, understandably so. Even though El Cap does a really good job at all of the family engagement coming to the school, but sometimes parents are just uncomfortable or those groups are so large. So this is our 2nd year of collaborating with El Cap for that, so that was well attended. And then new this year, we led a 5th grade transition. That was actually more crowded than our 8th grade, and I was so surprised. But it's those transitions from elementary to middle and middle to high that our families get so nervous about. So our 5th grade transition meeting, we had both of our principals and Jeanette facilitated, and we had lots of families listening to the presentation, obviously, been staying, asking questions. They had the 2 principals and the school counselors there, so they could answer their questions to help alleviate some of the nervousness and anxiety going into middle school. So that was great. We'll continue that next year. Supporting innovative practices. I think you guys are familiar that we have the SIP grant. This is our 2nd year of having it, or 3rd year of having the grant, and we found out that we've got the grant continued for the next couple of years too. She does a lot of work with our CELT team. She helps facilitate, gives us trainings. So not just for that, because that's a much smaller group. These are just some of the other things that she's been able to do this year and last year. So she arranged for site visits. We've had teams from LMS and TDS, and I think it's actually been a couple teams from TDS now that visited Twin Peaks Middle School, and the reason it's that particular school is because SIP has designated them one of their highlighted, they're noted for their inclusive practices. They're demo school, thank you, Alejandra. It's one of their demo schools. There's 2 in Poway, and those are the most, I think those are the only 2 in San Diego County, just that are related to the grant, and the other one is a high school. So Twin Peaks, TDS was first, then LMS, and then I think TDS has gone back again, and I think Dr. Hardiman is still in contact with that principal at Twin Peaks, just trying to brainstorm and get ideas about just their practices and the ways they look at that implementation. She also helped facilitate a visit to Roma Land to look at their preschool inclusion program. That helped us figure out some of the logistics about the state preschool and the integration and the tuition-based preschool. And we're so small, it's always good to be able to talk to other people that are doing the work, so we don't think of everything completely on our own, but to think, borrow, and steal from others. So she's been able to help organize that for us. Professional development, Linda Clark and Tierra Del Sol, both principals on their own, reached out to her directly. She's provided professional development for both of them. And with that work and the relationship she built with the two principals, our consultant's name is Megan. Megan reached out to the park and asked them to present at their annual conference. And so this little tiny thing is, that's the presentation, Belonging by Design, Practical Systems that Strengthen Collaboration and Boost Student Achievement. And Tessa and Geneva Pepe and Jessica Bisoff were the presenters for that session, which was just a couple weeks ago. So that was super exciting. We were very quiet about it because Tessa, she doesn't want to bring too much accolades to her, but we were really proud of them for doing that. They're stepping out of their comfort zone, and it's great. And it's showcasing the work that they have doing with her. Oh, and also they did she led a training series for the principals this year. She presented 3 times during our principal leadership team Megan did, and I think it really helped to open up some minds and help with our thinking and moving forward with our inclusive practices. District-wide PBIS leadership team is new this year. So PBIS has been a thing in Lakeside for many, many years, but we realized we kind of needed to rejuvenate it and put it back in the forefront and back in the spotlight. So we started a district-wide PBIS leadership team. And the purpose is collaboration, calibration, and idea sharing to support PBIS efforts at school sites. It will be continued next year. It was exciting that we had representation from every single school site. We had a couple principals joining as well. The representatives were members from their PBIS site teams. So the idea was that they were taking some of the ideas back and they were information sharing with their site leaders or with amongst the PBIS teams. It was exciting because everybody's doing something. So it's not like there's a school out there and it's like, God, I don't know what that is. I'm not doing anything. Everybody's doing something. Some schools are in different places. You guys have been at our campuses. You probably know that. We've realized there's a couple schools that are doing really, really well, but there's the ones that have had principals that have been there the longest. And I think that we were trying to, some of them were feeling bad because they're like, I'm not where Lindo Park is, or I'm not where TDS is. But we reminded them, 1, that you're doing something, but 2, everybody's in a different place and that's okay. We're not here to judge you, we are here to support you. And we're lucky that we have schools like Lindo Park and TDS because they've just been doing it for a longer period of time. They have the same leadership so they've been able to sustain the efforts longer. And the other schools, we just have newer principals. And so we're learning from one another. And I think what we heard, we just met on Wednesday, and what we heard from many of the ones that were just in the newer, the more beginning stages, was the value that they found by being amongst the group, being able to hear and learn from others. And everybody could take away something from everybody else. We said nobody has to start with a blank slate. Nobody does that anymore. We want to pick and choose, and what can we take and what can we tweak to make it ours. Those are just some of the examples, but it's exciting to watch the idea sharing and the engagement and the wanting to do more and the excitement of coming into next year. So we're going to continue this. We think that it was valuable and we got really good feedback from the team that was valuable. So looking ahead, we created probably 3 years ago, I think you guys, Champion for Children's Awards. We self-select in our internal leadership meetings. Every single school site has at least 2 or 3 people, and it's staff that go above and beyond. It's been instructional aides, gen ed teachers, special ed teachers, but we do make sure to have a variety of people, we're not just giving it to SPED. Everybody's deserving. And it's so fun watching them receive the award. So these are some of our last year's recipients, but we're creating our recipient list for this year. But it's, everybody gets so used to doing in their classroom and doing the right thing and working so hard, but when we come in there with our paper and our certificate, their faces light up. So it's a really fun experience. So we're looking forward to doing that at the end of the school year. Planning, of course, for next year. Extended school years at Lindo Park, so come on by and visit us. Those are the dates, and we're working on teacher recruitment very, very hard. We need some friends. But those are some extras. Let's read the recruitment. Gabby, it's all about Gabby. She was our classified employee of the year within the district office, so that's her. The top picture, we took a preschool group to our early childhood conference. The one that's cut off all 100, I presented at the early childhood conference. That was in the fall about Lakeside's journey into preschool and just the steps that we've taken and all of the forward momentum. So we are excited to do that. And that is all I got for you. Is there any questions?
Questions for Clark?
I do have one question, and I'm not going to make you go back to that slide because that was many slides ago. I'm just going to try to articulate what I remember. It was the slide that had the behavior teams at each site and the number of staff per student. This one, days and student, yeah.
Sure.
Could you walk me through the So for example, I'll give you the example that I'm thinking about. So for Lemoncrest, there's 5 days and there's 13 students. That tracks for me because it's there's a lot of kids that's one of the highest need with number of students, and so you have 5 days. But then you have a scenario where it's 1 day, 9 students for TDS. What goes into those determinations, and how does that work? Is it resources? Is it staffing? Is it just the needs aren't as intense? Is it all the above? I'm just trying to understand.
Honestly, not really resources. It's really, and I'll start and then you please, take off from that. Not necessarily resources. I mean, if we had more people, we would have more people at the school sites, of course. But it really goes down to the need of the specific school site. Middle school needs and middle school behaviors are very different than elementary. It's just a different environment. And so what we've also found in our very general way of looking at things over time is that Mr. P spends a lot more time at the middle schools than he does at the elementary because they need more of that individual mentorship and the check-ins. And he does do that at the elementaries, but he's doing many more of the classroom groups and small social skills groups at the elementary school. And his presence in the groups that he does at TDS and LMS are meeting those needs. And that work is different than Gabby's work. Gabby's work is typically often seen more so in the elementaries because you see more of that externalizing behavior. And while you do have naughty behaviors in middle school, they tend not to be what you see in elementary, partly because peers kick in and they just don't want to look different. All of those really big emotions that you see and the running around and hiding in the bushes that you're going to see at an elementary school for those, those top 5 flyer kids. You don't really see that. You do see other things that are not socially appropriate, but those tend to be handled in like the discipline measure type of a thing. And the work that Gabby's doing is more about creating systems and working with the classroom teacher and the routines because the student's behavior is really affected by that. So it can change, but historically, they don't need a lot of time. We do have people there. Partly that even that full day dedication is just because there are still a handful of students that have behavior services within their IEPs that typically came up from the elementary, and the team is still worried about them and they feel like they need a little bit of something, and so they're at the elementary schools. But when the BIA is supporting them, it's more like they're in the classroom, kind of in the periphery, taking data, and they will give some coaching information or some information to the case manager to share with the teachers or look at the behavior intervention plan. But there's less of a need to have that adult to student support with those students, and a lot of times because some of that maturity just changes between elementary and middle school.
Yes, I would.
Perfect. That's what I like. Just say yes.
With the addition of Mr. P, your social service coordinator, exactly what she said, he's kind of supplemented a lot of that support because they have responded so much more to him than us. However, also in middle school, we have a monthly consult, so we're checking in monthly with students versus like at the elementary level, we're checking in weekly, so we need to be there more frequently.
Helpful. Thank you. And then the other thing is thank you for honoring your team and people who support at the school sites.
Absolutely.
I think that's a really valuable thing. And so please do, either let Rachel know who those people are so that, when we see them, we can thank them when we're out on the site. I really believe in, supporting. This goes for all the departments, all of our schools. I really love to hear about all the great work. And believe it or not, we don't always hear about all the great work going on. And so, please do share so that we can hear about who got an award. And if you're dropping off to do a special, thing, I'm happy to be on the site that day. I'd love to walk.
I'll give you our schedule.
I'd love to walk because then I can go and join you. So I love to do that kind of thing because I think it empowers our staff to do, to continue doing the
And
great
we don't
things.
get enough shout outs, right? We get all the people when they're upset and then, they're calling, the superintendent's calling and they're coming by, but.
And the work is
yes.
hard. The work is hard. So I
Absolutely.
appreciate that you're doing that, and that goes for all of our departments that do that. But just know that I'm always interested to know. So, thank you.
Any other questions? No? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alright. Dr. Fernandez is now going to give us an update on the student services department.
Hello, good evening. Where did my presentation go? There we go. Right. Very excited to be with all of you tonight. Thank you so much for having me.
My name is Dr. Patty Fernandez, and I am very excited to share with you the highlights of our department so far for the current year. Our goal in the Student Support Services Department is to support the board's goal on CEL, as well as the school district's LCAP Goal 3, all surfacing around behavior supports, ensuring that students are connected and coming to school and have a sense of belonging. We tackle many projects and are responsible for quite a number of areas. I'm going to speak of just 10 tonight. Starting with attendance, as you are aware, our district goal is to hit 96% positive attendance in all grades, all students, no matter whether you are in general education, special education, it's everyone. And I'm very happy and pleased that we are getting there. Every year, as you can see, we have been getting closer and closer to 96%. And that is not just at one grade, it's across grades. So we're very excited for that. We also know that it's sometimes difficult for some students to come to school. They face challenges. And school principals for a couple of years now have worked with their staff to develop site attendance intervention plans. Our community liaisons work closely with the sites. We train them in understanding every single school's attendance intervention plan, so that no matter which school they're supporting, they have a pulse over what every other school in the district is striving for. And we take that information back when we meet with the school teams and can share, hey, this other school is doing this, you might want to check it out. It's very helpful for them to have a lay of the land, if you will, because we need to know what's happening everywhere and bring what's working to the other sites. This year, we have had 8 DART meetings. DART is our version of SAR, because the school has to have a system of support whenever they have a situation that they've exhausted resources in addressing, and now they need to kick it up. In my next slide, following this one, you'll see a tiered attendance process that we have going on. We keep improving it every year in response to the needs that our school staff is presenting. So our school principal and the school staff will let us know, hey, we're having this struggle with this one student, and we will address it on an individualized basis. Happy to share that as a result of this 5-tier student attendance support plan, we have seen success with every single student who comes to DART. We're excited to see that the family is more willing to engage with the school. Sometimes even they stop talking with the school, and something magical happens when we invite the family one-on-one to sit with us and our community-based organization partners to talk about what's happening. That is exactly what we're expected to do, to understand what are the barriers that are keeping students from coming to school. And I'm very happy when I see that now the family is willing to talk with the staff, that the kids are coming to school, and that we now have a student who's able to access the services that we have so desperately been wanting to offer them. DART meets once a month, and one of the areas that we talk about regularly when our team meets is how our students who are experiencing the most challenging situations, our McKinney-Ventnor kids who do not have stable housing, are doing. I'm thrilled to share with you their attendance has dramatically improved. A drop of 23% in chronic absenteeism with our students who are experiencing transitional living situations. That didn't just happen. That is the work of the schools, that is the work of our team, and that is the work of the parents wanting to partner with us. And this is an example of our tiered process. Tier 1 is what we provide all of our students. Every single student gets a hello, every single student gets a phone call if they're not at school. If the student is presenting chronic absenteeism or truancy, we have a system we use where an automatic letter mailing system notifies the parent keeping us compliant with legal requirements that a family needs to know if they've missed more than 10% of the year. From there, we gradually move up, and the most effort that we make is at Tier 4 and Tier 5, where we're having to bring in the family for DART, because again, those are one-on-one meetings with the family, as well as having district communication with the family about options. We realize that our comprehensive school system is not for everyone, and we know that there are families who prefer to homeschool or look at other alternatives, so we assist with that as well. We're basically your one-stop shop when you're trying to find something that's not working and you're looking at options. In addition to supporting with engagement and connection and attendance, we also support with school safety. This year, we facilitated 5 school safety meetings. These school safety meetings are attended by our community safety leaders, from fire to sheriff, and we've had the privilege of having Trustee Casper attend our meetings as well. Our principals really look forward to this opportunity, as do our department leads, because they have a one-on-one opportunity to discuss an issue that maybe they've been trying to solve, and they don't have to deal with the bureaucracy of having to make a phone call or send an email. I believe that our attendance at these safety meetings has dramatically improved because Mr. G has been talking it up in the community, and people know that they want to come to these safety meetings. We're at the point now where people are calling and saying, can I please come to your safety meeting? I hear they're really cool. So we appreciate all the PR you're doing. 7 canine visits have happened this year. They are at our middle school campuses, and it's basically a message, correct? That we are sending our students always vigilant, and we want to make sure that we're all operating in the safe way possible. Just like you see the canines at the airport, we are sending that same message. And so year-round, our students in the middle schools have access to the Say Something Anonymous reporting system. I love this system because it works even if school is closed. Whether we're on vacation, whether it's summer, whether it's winter break, that system is there and it is so effective. There have been times where the Crisis Center has called us on life safety alerts. There are children who are very, very worried about their friends, and they will use that system to tell us. That's how we're able to contact the family and discuss what the concerns are. But in rare instances where the Crisis Center determines that there is an imminent situation, they will reach out to us for the family's information, and they will dispatch the safety team immediately. So if it's sheriff or wherever it is that the child is located, they will dispatch the team to come out and check on the child. And the parent is notified immediately. In addition, we are also happy to support our school climate, where we strive for connected participation and supports happening district-wide. I sit on the SDCOE human trafficking sector. We just had a meeting today. I like to know what's going on, and I like to bring those resources back to us because we cannot ignore the fact that this is an issue that is impacting all of us. We may be a K-8 district, but there are programs that are happening across districts in our county that we can learn from and we can consider adopting. It's very informative to hear what's going on. And year-round, we support our schools whenever they want to work extra to improve their climate and culture. Right now, TDS has been working with SDCOE on increasing student belonging and connection to a special program they have, and they're doing really well. I might add that their student suspensions have dramatically gone down since they started working on this with SDCOE. So we're thrilled to continue working with them on this next year. And in addition, our department provides year-round training around self-harm and suicide prevention, not just for middle school, but for everyone, including ESS and anyone that is working directly with students. We believe in interdepartmental collaboration and making sure that our systems are working for everyone. We don't operate in silos because we are a very, very small team. We know that the only way that we can make change is by working together. And we do so by making sure that we're looking at the whole child, As a result, when there is a need, we facilitate site review, admin review. We oversee Section 504 plans. We ensure that everyone has the training they need so that we are legally compliant. Every month, we collect and disaggregate student suspension data. We make sure that all of our students that are participating on the California Healthy Kids Survey have their voice heard. We take their data and we look at it and we study it the whole year. It's not a one and done thing. And also, we work with our school principals whenever they have a situation where they need some guidance. Oftentimes, our school principals will reach out to me and let me know of something they're working on, and we can be thought partners. And that is music to my ears. Currently, we have 35 students who are McKinney-Vento, and I am proud to share, as I mentioned earlier, that chronic absenteeism of this student population has dramatically dropped. Again, it's happening because we're taking the time to understand what's happening at home and matching their needs to resources. That's the secret sauce. We currently have 19 students in foster care, which spans all the way from LEAP through our middle schools. I am very excited to share that 55% of our students in foster care have missed fewer than 8 days of school. Again, that is thanks to all the work everyone is doing, not just within Lakeside, but countywide. We are keeping kids at school because we're working together. We now have 2 Purple Star designated schools in Lakeside, and as Principal Greenwell just predicted, I'm sure we'll have 3 or more next year. Our schools that are Purple Stars are making a promise to roll out the welcome mat to any student who is military connected and make their family feel a sense of connection when we know that oftentimes they are relocated in the middle of the school year. All students in the Lakeside Union School District have access to a full-time MFLAG. She is housed at Lakeside Farms. We cannot refer any family to the MFLAG, but she is available to support any student, any family that is in need of mental health services, and they have a active duty service member. And speaking of mental health support, I'd like to thank you for all of the support that you have given us over the years on SEL. It has been a long-standing board goal, and we could not do the work we do without it. Recently, we shared with you that we were awarded a capacity building grant to bring the CYBHI program to our district. We've been working very hard this year to ensure people are trained. There is a lot of learning that we've been making together around this. This is a statewide initiative, and we are participating in cohort 2. All students in the Lakeside Union School District have access to school-based mental health services, starting with Wellness Together, but there is more. In the fall, I invite you to mark your calendars. We will be offering an 8-week SEL parent series facilitated by Beacon. As you may recall, our families love Beacon. And that will be hosted at Lemon Crest in the fall. This is an example of our mental health services brochure. Our school counselors and school psychologists use this to really figure out with the family what is the best option for the student's mental health needs. Wellness Together is one of many, as you can see here. We ordered these stands, as you can see there, where we can put resources. Our schools were telling us, this is great, you keep sending us stuff to give to our families, but where do we put it all? So we had a little grant, and so we ordered these for the sites, and they love them. And this is the back of the brochure. Parent engagement and support is critical. If we don't have kids at school, we're missing the opportunity to meet their instructional needs. We're very excited to share that we surpassed our LCAP goal with the number of families who graduated earlier this year in the Family Literacy Program. That was an 8-week commitment they made to come and learn how to support their student on literacy. Our families were so proud. They delivered incredible speeches, testimonials to all of their learning, and we are just incredibly proud of them. Today, 11 parents graduated from the Parent Leadership Academy facilitated by SDCOE at no charge. I love free, what can I say? And 5 of us attended the California Statewide Homeless Education Conference. We were very, very pleased to be able to talk with other school districts, pick their brain and learn from them, and come back recharged and revitalized with new perspective on issues that we see every week. And as you can see here, these are the parents who graduated today. Those posters were made by them as part of their sessions. And here they're showing us their inner child drawing. And the mom on the left there was saying that when she was growing up, she didn't have anybody that really helped her understand the importance of school, and she doesn't want that for her children. So it's just so powerful to see and hear how these programs make a difference for our kids. None of this could be done alone. Somehow, word got out that the Student Support Services Department really wants to do great things for kids. And so, as a result, we have had community partners calling us saying, we heard about these kids that can't go to camp, what can we do about it? Or we heard about these kids that can't have Christmas holidays because it's really hard. So the East County Posse, every December now for 2 years, has really honored us with gift cards for every single McKinney-Vento family. They have such a huge heart. These are not $20 gift cards, y'all. I mean, they really go all out, and our families greatly appreciate them. The Eastbound Bar and Grill, for the 2nd year in a row, is planning to have their fun run. And last year, they donated all their proceeds to our students so they could go to camp. We prioritize all of our children who are in homeless situations, in foster care, and who meet the free lunch criteria. It's a direct certification. So this isn't the sort of thing where somebody can call and say, I heard you've got some money, can you help me out here because I'd like to send my child. It doesn't work like that. We have a very rigid system, and you have to go through us to tap into any of those resources. So we use them well, I feel. A couple of days ago, we went to the Stadium Association here, and they promised us to make a nice donation so we can bring the vision bus. And we are so happy about that. It's a one-stop shop where the student who has not passed the vision test will be able to have their eyes checked. And if they qualify for a free pair of eyeglasses, they will have their very own pair of eyeglasses free of charge. That takes care of the transportation barrier that many of our families face because they can't go to find an optometrist for these eye exams. And it allows that student to have the pride of ownership that they chose their own glasses. They can go back to school, they can see everything, and they're just so proud that they have glasses that they just desperately needed all this time. Lastly, the Christian Brothers group donated bicycles earlier this year, and we have an outstanding partnership with Feeding San Diego, who works with us to ensure that our families who are facing food insecurity have access to fresh food and wholesome meals for their families. And thank you to Trustee Hayes for the connection with East County Hospital. We work really, really hard to help our staff understand the needs of children in foster care and children experiencing homelessness. This is a very delicate matter because we know that oftentimes children who are in those situations can often present behavior that is not very favorable. We know that having a lot of trauma and lived experiences that weigh on you can sometimes present themselves in ways that we'd rather not see. But this is a reality, right? And this is the student population that we need to serve. So we bring a lot of training, and we, as a team, participate in a lot of information so that we can be as informed as we best can in learning the research-based information that is out there that we can then use to help our families and speak to staff. We've also been spending quite a bit of time, as mentioned earlier, learning about CYDHI. Every summer we offer a youth mental health first aid certification here. And we especially love our classified staff participating. Our biggest turnout is the bus drivers and our child nutrition department. And that's very important because sometimes kids will make a comment or maybe they'll present a certain way and they're hearing this, right? They're listening to it and they need to know what signs to look for and when to report to a staff member for follow-up. Our little team is very excited. Oh, it's not moving. Oh. Our little team is very excited of all the work that we are accomplishing. And we have an incredible team who works from the heart. I'm just so proud of them, and when we are together, we celebrate all the wonderful news of the success stories that we're seeing because of their work. So I thank you so much for this opportunity, and I can't wait to come back next year and tell you about more exciting things we're up to. Thank you.
Does anyone have questions for Dr. Fernandez? I just want to say real quick, thank you for the work that you're doing because it's very impactful for our students. And congratulations on your recent recognition.
Thank you so much.
It was very nice to meet your whole family. Having your whole family show up there, that was so cool.
And I'd like to thank my husband who's here for moral support tonight.
Welcome. Questions?
Oh, not a question, just a statement. Thank you for all you do. From this presentation, it's very clear you love your job. And thank you for all you do for our kids who are in most need. And you know, you take a lot of time and sacrifice away from your hubby and your family. So thank you. But as long as I've known you, you've loved your job. And you're doing great things. So thank you for all the work that you do for our kids.
It's my privilege, truly. Thank you very much.
No, I just want to say thank you as well, and that your son did give you away, said that you're at home working and at
He ratted me out.
Those are secrets, but yeah, no, thank you so much, and it really is apparent.
Thank you.
And that award was very well.
Thank you so much. It means a lot. And your support is what drives us to keep going. So thank you for all you're doing.
I just want to say that, we're a fairly small district, and it's just amazing all the services and wraparound services for any child in our district. And it's amazing, and as long as I've known you, I just see this passion and your team. It just emits when I talk to you. But again, it's just amazing that we have all these services for kids if they don't show up for school, they're not, or they're feeling bad, or they need good nutrition, all these things that affect their learning. So thank you, and thank your team so much.
Thank you. And when we go out to these trainings and these conferences, that's our goal. Our goal is to go find 5 new ideas that we didn't have before we got there. And that's my goal as well. I attend conferences in Northern California, sometimes are local, but we can always do better. We cannot sit on good, right? We're striving for great, and that's what makes me proud of our team. That is our shared goal. Thank you.
And now I'm going to turn it to Mr. Gurdens, who's going to give us an update on our immersion program.
Immersion program. So we got an opportunity to hear from Principal Greenwell and Assistant Principal Hood about Riverview, and this is our overall language immersion programs in the district. 20 years, as they mentioned in the previous presentation, which is pretty amazing. So these are our offerings currently: Winter Gardens, TK Kindergarten, first grade Spanish and Mandarin, Riverview, grades 2 through 5 Spanish and Mandarin, Lakeview offering the TK through 5 Spanish. Lakeside Middle School has 6th through 8th grade Spanish with enrichment in Mandarin. Due to enrollment and staffing issues, the middle school Mandarin moving forward, may only be offered at Tierra del Sol beginning next school year. We've communicated that to the Riverview parents, obviously. And then Tierra del Sol Spanish Mandarin classroom instruction, subject matter instruction, and then also the enrichment offered in both languages as well. So very robust offerings being offered by our district. Subject matter instruction. So I always like to think about, most of us took a foreign language class in high school, and that was, learning body parts and colors and sounds and things like that. This is actual content. So at TES, students are taking social studies and lit classes in their target language. And then Lakeside Middle School offering those classes in Spanish as well. And again, different than the traditional electives that we offer because it's more than just vocabulary. The TK-12 alignment, because of our program that we started 20 years ago, because it started obviously with kindergartners back at Riverview, Grossmont Union High School made the decision to offer their version of immersion, which is global language and leadership, at El Capitan High School, and that was specifically to serve our students moving forward. The program is extremely successful, students earning state seals of biliteracy and then district seals of triliteracy. There is no state seal of triliteracy, and that's why students would earn multiple for our trilingual students, 2 sets, but the district does do a seal of triliteracy. And then global language and leadership students, they earn admission to really amazing colleges and universities. I believe I've shared previously, and I remember this from when we very first started the program because I was actually in Lakeside, 20 years ago when this program started. One of our goals was to be able to ensure our students gaining admission to colleges and universities. So when I became the principal at El Capitan, I started reaching out, and what I found out was I didn't need to. Our kids are getting into amazing colleges all throughout the country and internationally as well. And we've talked about it, Oxford, Stanford, all the UCs, all those things. And those are Lakeside kids through this program. Quick video for you all.
School foreign language programs have you taking maybe a couple years of one language. Well, this very specialized program here at El Capitan High School has students taking multiple languages for multiple years, and the final result is quite impressive. In this theater class at El Capitan High School, students are putting on play. But this one
Vamos a practicar un poquito más.
is in Spanish.
Preguntas sobre algo.
These students are freshmen in the school's Global Language and Leadership program, something that's lasted most of their lives.
It's a 13-year program.
Senior Olivia Jensen is about to graduate and is wrapping up her final year in the language program, which started as soon as they started school.
When they are 4 years old is when they start being taught only in Spanish.
Starting in elementary school, they learn every single subject in either Spanish or Mandarin or both.
Ever since then, I've been learning all 3 languages through whether it was social studies, math, science, all of that was either in Spanish or Chinese.
Meaning these seniors are finishing high school trilingual.
Kind of like a hidden gem.
It's been a really good, well-rounded experience for these students. Something normally wouldn't get, going to your run-of-the-mill high school.
The program is not more than learning the language, but knowing the culture as well. They've all traveled around the globe.
It makes you think about different cultures, different perspectives.
Being able to have something called global competency, where you not only learn about different cultures, but you also learn just about how people function around the world.
Hard at times, but for these students,
it's worth it. At times, it did not seem worth it, and the work was just a lot. But at the end of the day, and being here about to graduate, it's 100% worth it.
Leah Pizzetti, ABC 10 News.
No. Sorry about that. So again, a lot of successes in the program and continued goals. One of the goals that we've talked about next year is additional language-specific professional development for our staff. Continuing our vertical alignment, we've done a good job this year in Mandarin, and by vertical alignment, the middle schools, hooking up with the high school teachers. We're going to be focusing on Spanish next year. Enrollment growth, we'll be looking at numbers in a little bit. Continuing the cultural opportunities, a lot of that is through our PTA members and our teachers and our principals, really looking for those. Our skills assessment growth, our data is fantastic. The kids are growing and learning. And then Otto mentioned the year-end presentations at TDS. They're phenomenal. If you ever get a chance, it really hits home to see a 6th grader being able to explain their progression and their experience in a target language. I could understand the Spanish. Autumn, I don't know if you understood the Mandarin or not, but it's still darn impressive.
Maybe one word.
Updates, we have a potential new Mandarin teacher that will be supporting Tierra del Sol students. One of the feedback items that we received, based on our numbers, we only need one teacher to cover the 3 grade level span at Tierra del Sol. And our parents have said we would like to see multiple teachers, and we're hoping to get that person on board. Hasn't quite happened yet, but we're keeping our fingers crossed.
We're this close, we're
very
negotiating.
close.
It's an amazing, incredible candidate.
And then, as I mentioned, the Mandarin students at Tierra del Sol moving forward. And that's, again, based on staffing and based on student need. So our enrollment, you can take a look. We are in a downward trajectory in terms of interdistrict transfers. And that is something that Principal Greenwell and Principal Hood and Principal Rowan over at Lakeview are working diligently on. But it has been a program that's been very successful in our district, and it sustains a lot of the work that we do. So you can see the enrollment numbers at Winter Gardens, and then those obviously trickle up to Riverview International Academy as well. So that is an area of focus. We need to get the word out about our great program. As we found out this year, and we've known this again, we've been doing this 20 years, we've talked about the fact that we were one of the first districts, but I think we're the second district in the county that started. Now everybody has it. What makes Lakeside better? The sustainability of our program, the input that we give, and the work that we do, professional development with our staff. We are better than everyone else, and we need to do a great job of spreading that word and keeping people coming to little old Lakeside. And that concludes my presentation. So shish is one of the words, I can't read that, but I know what it says. That's thank you in Mandarin, and obviously gracias. So.
Questions on immersion?
No, more of a comment. One, thank you for that update. I am genuinely concerned about the enrollment, and I'm not saying I don't want to denigrate the hard work of the team. So I just want to say though that if you guys are thinking about things that systemically we can support, I'm open to hearing it, because I think it's a program that we can't afford to lose, and we need to support. And if there are structural things that we can invest in. I remember when I first was elected to the board, one of the first site visits I made was to Winter Gardens and to learn about the program. And it was really fun, because I was doing, kind of to the writing point you were making earlier, is I actually did one of the writing exercises with the students, and that was hard. And the fact that they're learning that, it's going to translate to great achievement numbers for us. And we've seen that consistently in our district. Our overall numbers grow because we've had fantastic language programs. And so, if our team, has suggestions about structural things we can support, I want to hear them, because, I think it's a really good program to support. And so I wanted to share that, put that out into the ether, because it is something that helps our kids and our families, and helps us fund other parts of the district. So I'm very open to hearing your thoughts and suggestions.
Yeah, so this was an update from our big budget and meeting that we had. I think it still comes down to one of those questions that came out of this, which I think is going to be an ongoing one for us as a board. So one of the questions that we posed in this is what kind of investment is needed to keep this program strong and continue to build it. So I think that's going to be an ongoing question for a little bit of time. It's not something we can just answer and say, here's your sticker, it's all good now. So I want you guys to be aware, this is something that we're still thinking about, and I want you guys to be thinking about. And as you come up with things, let us know, what can we do to support this, and what can we prioritize and invest in this program.
And on that point, there's parent feedback we've received, on this, and so, that kind of feedback is always helpful. And, you know, and I'm hopeful, I'm really hopeful, and this is why I think for members of the public, our push on our survey is really important, because we're gonna have hard conversations as a board and make decisions, and so we need, we made hard decisions before, we can do it again, but I think the question is, in what direction, right? And I think that we really are gonna lean on our team to support that, so I echo that, Laura, I wanted to share that, because as I'm thinking about the program, it is different than when I first was on the board. It's changed.
Any other questions or comments? All right, thank you so much. All right, so we are going to move on to the consent agenda. We'll be looking for a motion to designate consent agenda items. Is there a motion? Thank you, Autumn. Is there a second? Thank you, Ron. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Perfect. Are there any items that we need to pull from the consent agenda? No? All right. I did not either. With that, we will be looking for a motion to adopt the consent agenda as is. Do we have a motion? All right. Do we have a second? Any comments or questions? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Perfect. Did I miss a step? I feel like I'm missing a step.
You got it.
Did I get it? I don't know. I didn't make my notes ahead of time. They're
It's muscle
only
memory.
coming in 5 minutes. I'm like, wait, I feel like I'm missing something. I think it's because we didn't pull anything. So, all right, so we're going to move on to your discussion items. The enrollment report was included in your package. Were there any questions or comments on the enrollment report? No? All right. Legislative updates. I know there's bills and stuff. Is there anything else though that, you know, is kind of bill-wise that we should be looking at?
May is council ordinance deadline. What that means is that any bill that doesn't pass out of its originating house fails to review. It would not be prudent for us to take a position on things until they're in the new house. We will be able to do that in our presumably our next meeting. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay, but I would like to task, and anybody else, but you tend to bring us the most, but maybe we can review at policy committee if there's anything that we do want to, so that we have kind of an idea that can come to the board so we can make some decisions.
Yeah, I think since we're in discussion, we should probably address the member of the public who, you know, brought anybody, so we probably have a policy.
At policy committee, yeah. Okay.
And then, you know, as far as bills are concerned, I would encourage our colleagues, if you have bills that you don't like or you hear about, forward to me or Laura, and we'll recommend a policy. And there's a list of bills that I have, but some of them, I want to be alive a week. So,
Anything else from anyone else? Yeah? All right. So we're gonna move right on to reports to the board. Carrie was not able to be here tonight, as well as Dave is also not here, which moves us straight to Lisa Davis, which we're all very much waiting for. I got busy and I wasn't able to Google it.
Oh. Well, it's just, I mean, he just announced it this morning, so there's a lot of dissemination going on and stuff. And next week, there'll be capital advisors and school services, so they'll be able to give a little bit more detail. But the overarching theme of the May revise is, and this was like a big shocker, because we'd already heard that the statutory COLA raised from 2.41, then it went to 2.51, and then the statutory now is 2.87. So that's where it is. The shocker, as I was reading the was that the governor is making, and I had a feeling, I think I was talking to you earlier, I was like, there may be a super COLA because of, and there is, and so he's adding an additional 1.44, so it'll be a 4.31 COLA next year.
Wow.
But he's funding that with one-time funds. Yeah. Which he did a few years ago, and it's just kind of building on the problem down the road that's more than likely the state's going to have. And it's really funny, I liked how he worded the additional on top of the 2.87. It's a discretionary COLA, is what he's calling it. It's like, but then it's the whole, it's a COLA of 431. So that's gonna be fun next year. I'm glad I won't be here. Hey now.
Come on.
So, and here's the caveat to that. So these are the strings that are tied. So he's still manipulating, even though it's been now downgraded from the 5.6 billion that he was gonna divert from Prop 98, if you recall that, over into the non-ed side of the budget. That's been downgraded to a little over $3 billion, because he's using some of this for this super COLA. What's tied to that is 14 weeks of paid maternity leave. And that's what, he states it, that's what's going to, this additional super or discretionary is going to address any inflationary, but specifically the cost. Because there was a bill last year that tried to get this passed, but it was just so expensive that it didn't pass. So my prediction is this is our new reality, is it'll pass. I don't think that there's, I mean, CTA is gonna be all over it. They're gonna be all over because they're, you know, what's the big push lately of, you know, these low COLAs, we can't afford to live, the inflation, and so he raised COLA to a super COLA. And he's given this, and if it passes, we have to bargain it into our bargaining agreement. It's law. We have to change our bargaining agreement. The other pieces of it are SPED is going to be increased. The funding, it was $999 around that ADA. It's going to go up to, it's going to jump up to a little over $1,300. That's good. The supplemental one-time funding that they had talked about, staff remember calling it the SPED, but it's kind of weird. That will increase a little bit too. And then the learning recovery block grant stays flat because that's really just kind of since last year in there. And, so there'll be some increases, but so here's my cautionary note, because we will be, Dan and I, doing our budget adoption here now that we have these numbers. More than likely, County Office of Ed is going to say don't include a lot of this into your, they'll probably only say only use the 2.87 COLA in your adopted budget, but don't include some of this extra, because a lot of it, the governor has until June 30th to actually adopt the budget, and that's too late for our budget adoptions. We do have a 45-day, we'll probably come back at the 45-day in August with the revisions after the governor does his final. But what I'm going to caution is, I just talked about, you know, the budget reductions in the out years, because we're seeing that. We've done really, really, really good work within our district to improve our salary schedules, to make it so that it's easier to recruit staff that want to come here, because our salary schedules are more competitive. We've done good work there, but we knew there was going to come a point in time that we're going to have to, like, you know, not stop, but really take a good hard look at the budget, and we're there. So any of these new dollars, I can see folks out, staff and stuff saying, "Ooh, I want that. Now I can spend more on here and here and here." No. We should not be adding staffing. We should not be increasing our expenses. We should use this to maintain and to build our reserve up a little bit, and that should be a priority. Sam and I have talked about how we can do this through some, and I'll share this, the state allocation board. I was so excited. We just finally, remember I said we were leaving money on the table for our modernization projects. We got in the queue, been working with school facility consultants, and man, they're making it happen. So we should, between July 1st and December 30th, we just literally yesterday got a letter from the SAB board saying one of the Lakeside Farms parking lot. So we're going back that far. That project is being funded. And so we'll be getting some of that money. Where I want to put that money is into Fund 17, because what I would like to do is to build any of these additional dollars that we're getting, is to put what would equate to a 3%, fluctuates because it's based off of our expenditures, but to put that money in there so that we have our reserve set in Fund 17, and we don't touch that. And then that carries into the out years. That will always stay stable. But then in our general fund, if we can build or maintain a 3% reserve, there's our 6%. So, and that's a comfortable place for the district to be. So, I'm just, again, I won't be here. I'm a little sad because I do like to do this stuff, but Tori's going to be more than capable. I'm going to have conversations with her about, Sam, I've been keeping her, in the, here's my thoughts, we kind of talk about it and bounce things back and forth, and of what moving forward for the district to still be able to do, keep our salary schedules moving. We may have to negotiate some other things within the contract, I'm saying that loud right now, but, to make some gives and takes. And, but I would, again, greatly caution that any of these, because that's all people are gonna see. Oh, here's all this money here, here's all this money there, so I wanna spend it over here, I wanna add this, and I wanna add that. This is not the time to do that. It truly isn't. And, we just saw, we're doing great programs and stuff. We can look in different places of maybe making reductions. We might not even have to make those reductions because, like I said, literally when I did the AB 1200, 2 hours later, this came out and it just basically changed, a lot of the stuff. We also, I want to remind the board, we have a $650,000 payment to our solar system, that lease payment that comes out of our general fund every year. We were supposed to see like a wash of that. We only did make a little bit last year, maybe about 300,000 reduction in our SDG&E bill. It's back up there this year. It's so that 650, that's a cost. That's not even a savings, and we have 11 years left on this payment. So any one-time funds, and if it's truly discretionary, that needs to be swept in that payment, because that's a payment that we have a legal obligation to make that we need to make that payment. I mean, that's our reality, and we just have to be smart about moving forward. We can weather through it, we'll do good, but there's certain things that are our reality that we have to take care of. And and then the other I saw, which was really interesting, the categorical funds, like food service and stuff, they're getting that same COLA, except for state preschool, and they're only getting a COLA of 2.01. So that could impact our state preschool program. Really strange. I don't know why. I don't know. And then the state's even, the LEO's cautioning because they were saying the state's revenues, 50% of that comes from personal income tax, and the majority of that is the 1%ers. And so it's a very precarious, they're talking about raising their state reserve from a 10% to a 20% because, and if they're saying that, they're looking at, somebody knows something that's not looking so hot in the future years, probably pretty sooner than later. So don't mean to sound doom and gloom, but it's just, again, you know, we have to be smart about this, and we have to be, we have to look ahead. We can't borrow worries from the future, but we can be smart about the future. And moving forward, just see what we can do. We have some housing developments, you know, I think we're still showing really strong enrollment. Our ADA kind of flattened out this year. We were hoping to see a little bit more of an increase than what actually came in. I was talking with Cajon Valley because we were hoping that the attendance recovery was really going to help us to kind of move that needle a little bit more. I think it saved us from dipping, and that's why we're still kind of showing flattened out. But I was talking with Cajon Valley, the CEO over there, and just in a conversation, and I was just like, God, it was, you know, disappointing when P2 came in, and it just wasn't what we thought it would be. And I mean, I'm glad that it's kind of stayed flat and didn't dip, but and he was like, you too? Like, and then when I shared what, so our P2 ADA is 95%. It's like right there on the needle. And he said, did you guys do attendance recovery? I said, yes, we did. He goes, so did we. We thought it was going to be like, it would really help us to grow. He was saying theirs is 93%. He goes, I'll take your 95 over our 93. And I was like, I don't feel so bad now, but it's just still, you know, that sweet spot is a 96, 97. And so that's a continued struggle. But he was saying that they were, in speaking with staff, we got hit really hard over the winter, February and March with flus. And, you know, that's the nature of ADA too. Like, those kids can't come to school because they're sick. So, but TK's looking strong. That's what's really been saving us. But our 8th graders going out and the TKers coming in, we're still, you know, we're still doing this. There's going to be that bell curve, and we're going to start seeing a downward trend in our enrollment. But I just got talking about inter-districts going, and I'm feeling, and I don't know if the board can feel this too or notices it, but I feel like we're going back to pre-COVID when it was, you know, districts are just hitting it hard, trying to find different programs. If a program's not working well, or if you start seeing a real dip in that, what can we figure out to find another program that's going to pull, because it's poaching from the other districts, and we're back to that, and it's time to poach in order to grow enrollment and you know, make our programs full and successful. So that's my sad story. Did I?
You got me. Good.
All right, Robin.
We're very busy working with all the sites, staffing for next year, and looking at everything Lisa just shared. And really excited about this Mandarin teacher opportunity, and hopefully we'll have great news next meeting. And super proud and celebratory of our classified and our certificated staff and all of the great good things you've heard. And then, as always, stuff I can't talk about, so thanks.
And did you say it's a Mandarin, a full-time Mandarin teacher, or a?
It's a full-time Mandarin teacher with a unique multiple subject and single subject Mandarin candidate. 20 years teaching in a Mandarin only program, non-native speaker, which is phenomenal. Lived in China and taught in China for 7 years. And is moving to California and is really excited. Enrolled grew their Mandarin program in their state at their school site over 300%. Super stellar references that you rarely hear. I thought her principal was going to cry. I didn't. She was really, but she's moving anyway, unless it's just a family move. And so we're really excited. She's a really great prospect and has great experience, really K to university level. And her sweet spot is really probably grade 2 and up was her statement to me, and so we're hoping to bring it home.
Close the deal.
Close the deal.
And this is her would be TDS. Yeah.
Correct. No promises. Everyone on video, anybody who's listening. But a really great, prospect in a very challenging staffing teaching position.
Yes.
A great flexibility, which is what we need, because we can't, frequently, unfortunately, we end up great people hiring with specific credential that's very limited. And this is a great opportunity. And she's super thrilled and excited. Thank you.
Natalie is not here, so we'll skip over her and go straight to Scott Williams.
Yeah, Natalie apologized that she had a family emergency. I want to thank Riverview for the Winter Gardens for the fantastic art. I love coming into the boardroom and seeing the great artwork. And then, as you mentioned, staff appreciation. Our staff are tremendous in Lakeside. I do want to call out, we have so many people that are worthy of recognition. I was at the Lakeside Middle School Band and Orchestra concert this week, and Jason Justison is retiring. And I'm extremely happy for him, and I'm extremely sad for me and for the students of Lakeside. Almost 30 years of creating just a fantastic band and orchestra program, participating proudly in so many school, district, and community events. And he will be missed. When Principal Dotson and I were recognizing him in front of parents, we were getting choked up, and he's like, "I'm out of here, guys. Nothing you can do to keep me here." But he really, truly was a treasure, and will be sorely missed, and it's big shoes to fill over at Lakeside Middle School. That's my report.
All right. With that, we are going to move back into closed session. I would ask we're going to take about 5 minutes because there's a bunch of paperwork we have to sign and other things, and then we'll get started.
No. Yeah?
That's again from the car.